Hello, everybody, and welcome back at Adobe Live. I'm so excited to be here for this part 2 with the wonderful Tony Harmer, aka Design Ninja. Hi, Tony. How's it going?
Hi, Claudie. It's going well. Thank you very much. I've got a bit more of my normal voice back today. The cold, it seems like it's finally in retreat. So a bit more normal timbre. Not so much. How are you doing?
Fantastic. I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here with you and with everybody that is joining us here. And make sure to jump on behance.net/live. Everybody, I know that many of you are watching us from YouTube. Come to Behance. There is so much more going on here in terms of stream that you can enjoy throughout the day. But most importantly, we have a live chat so you can join the conversation and join the design and ask questions to Tony throughout the stream. And also today we're going to have a spotlight, an artist spotlight reveal at the end of the stream. So make sure to stay tuned throughout and let us know also where you're watching from. Me and Tony today, we're doing a UK stream in US time. So I am actually right now in Manchester, UK. And Tony, you are in Cambridge, correct?
I am. Well, I'm in Cambridgeshire, but yes, I'm in Cambridge. Yes, I am.
Fantastic. And I also want to remind everybody that every day here we start the day at Adobe Live at 9 a.m. Pacific with the Photoshop Creative Challenge. This week you have your wonderful host, Paul Trani, that is focusing on creating and playing with type, taking part of the 36th Day of Type Challenge. So we have a typography challenge and Photoshop challenge. Make sure to join every single morning, 9 a.m. Pacific. But now let's jump back in the design with Tony. Let's do a little bit of a recap. Yesterday, we really focused on some wonderful, amazing tips, ninja tips and techniques in Illustrator. And we started to have a little bit of a look at what variable data and dynamic design is. But I know that today, Tony, you're going to show us a full project. We're going to dive in straight into Illustrator and create these wonderful badges. And we're going to use variable data. So I'm going to leave the floor to you or the screen to you. And I look forward to see this project.
I thank you very much. Yes, just a quick recap of where we were yesterday. We had a look at some techniques which are very, very useful when you're dealing with data, because it's all right being just drawing things, but really it's better when you're working with data if you can get Illustrator to do some of the drawing for each one. And I used this example throughout. Let me just get rid of this background just here, or actually just change it to a straightforward color. Just give me just 1 second to do that. I'll change that. And we looked big into appearances because they're so cool. So we took a look at this. We didn't build this particular one. Okay, we went and built some other things, and we ended up building and playing with a logo thing that we made just from a piece of type. So just to show you what the actual artwork here is, if I go into outline mode, you can see everything there is generated by the type. And I think we just finished at about the right time because it was just starting to get pushed just a little bit far.
We're adding and adding and adding.
Yeah, just throwing it all in there, and it's starting to, because it's exciting, right, to show all of these
superpowers of the appearance panel.
Yeah, but this time we are going to do a whole project. We are going to build everything we need for that project. If we get time, we can have a dive into this piece of text here and see how all of these things were generated, but we'll just go along with building the actual project, which is going to be an event badge. Now I have a badge with placeholders in here. So if I just go ahead and open that. So we're going to do a fictitious event badge. It's going to look nicer than this, right? Because as I said, this is just a placeholder. So we're going to pretend that we're working for this global creativity company, and they have 2 conferences they have Maxi rather, and they have Maxi, right? So they've got two different things they have. And if I just swap this one over for the other logo, right? So this is Maxi here, and if I swap this one over for Max E, you'll see the difference there between the two, right? Okay, so they have these two conferences side by side, which some organizations do. We'll do something exciting with people's first names, right? We've got a list for those things. We'll do something less exciting with their surname. We'll have a different background. We'll have a choice of 3 different backgrounds, and we'll also say what sort of level of attendance they've got and so on. But essentially, that's the kind of structure of it. And of course, I'm emulating the badges that we get at Max. So that's what we're going to build out. And then we'll look, in the course of doing that, we're going to take a look at the data that we use to build this. Okay, and we'll also then look at how we can export all of these things using actions, because there are actions in batches. I think Val asked yesterday about that, but there's no, from the variables panel, which we looked at yesterday, if I just go ahead and open that one up, there is no batch export here, such as the one in InDesign, for example. You don't have one, but you can do a batch with actions, and that's what we'll do later on to export all the images that we need from these. Of course, they could be any file type pretty much, but all of the images we'll need. That's what we're going to do with that. So we're going to build it from scratch. Some things may go wrong. It's always fun when those things happen.
That's the beauty of the live. What I say here, Tony, is that I always remind everybody that that's a safe space. Here at Adobe Live, we're all learning together. Sometimes up crushes, sometimes the design doesn't go the way you want it to go, but that's real life. And, you know, even yesterday when we didn't save the file until probably an hour in the stream, you know, I love when even super pro like you share the true reality of what everyday life as a designer is, and things happened. And that's the beauty of the live. We're here to share it together.
Yep, and you've fortunately today you've got a safe container with.
Gotta sip it up. Yes, we have Annika in the chat saying no water spilling today, please.
No water. How is your keyboard, by the way? Is it all working, or have you just replaced it?
I replaced it. I have piles of keyboards and mouse around the house. I just thought it was the case. And since I'm interrupting you already, I just want to say a quick hello to the people in the chat that are joining us. I can see RB, what's up, team, our team bot in the chat, Jane, Annika, Umacron, of course, our lovely Voodoo Val that is here supporting us, sharing link. And talking about link, make sure to go and check out Tony Instagram, which is a Design Ninja, and of course his YouTube channel and his courses on LinkedIn. Yesterday he did more of an intro about what he does, so make sure to go and check it out. And of course, don't forget to use the chat to ask questions and participate and express your opinion during the design. And if you want any industry related question as well, we're super happy also to have this conversation.
Absolutely.
Space and time. So let's get started.
And if you want to throw in any polls, by the way, you and Val,
yes,
feel
I'm
free.
Here.
If you
I'm
want
waiting
to do it,
for
I won't be, you know, I won't be offended by that at all. Okay, so let's crack on then, as they say, and at least get rolling. So what I'm going to do here is, oh, by the way, my interface might look a little bit funny because I have it zoomed in so that it's easier for people to see, especially if they're watching it on watching the stream on a phone, right? So it just makes it easier for them to see icons. And that means that sometimes Illustrator draws boxes that don't quite, you know, they have more content in than they can actually show. So that's why I had to move that one across. So what I'm doing here is I am going for a fairly standard badge size in the US, right? There are different sizes, but these are the ones similar to the ones that we have for Adobe Max. So this is 4 inches by 5.8 inches, and I'm just going to work in inches today as well. Okay, and everything else there I think is pretty good. We're going to make this an RGB document, raster effects resolution. I like 300 ppi, I like all of that good stuff, and that is fine. I think that's perfectly good. So I'm going to hit create, and we have already, okay, our document here. So I'm going to save this one, okay, almost as soon as I've laid a mark on it, really. So what I'm going to do is I'll just drop something into here. So we'll go ahead and have a layer This one, we'll call this background, like so, and we'll add a new layer. And at that point, I can save because I made a change to the document state. Okay, and we'll call this logos just here. Great stuff. I'm going to save that. I've got a folder that I've already created for this with some safety assets in them already that we can use as well. We'll look into those in just a bit, and some that we can mix up in there. So this one I'm going to call badge demo, like so. You'll notice, by the way, that I don't leave many spaces in my file names. It's rare for me to do that. Normally, everything I do is connected together into one string of text. And if you're dealing with variable documents, that's a good habit to actually keep, to make sure that you've got a single string, because spaces, they cause problems in variable documents because they're being retrieved over a network. And while we can do that on many systems like the Mac and Windows, you can leave spaces in your file name. It's actually a substitution that's occurring for you. In fact, I'm going to draw this out just so you can see. If I just make this text here much, much bigger. So where we've got here, lorem ipsum, if that was a file name, what you've actually got there under the hood looks like this. And you've probably seen this if you've ever entered a URL into a browser, which I'm sure you have, right? You're probably getting something like that. Okay, so %20% is the actual tag for a space. And of course, if you're typing this and you want that, you can see the difference. And the computer or the data sheet won't necessarily, won't resolve that for you, right? It will just go, no, and done. So space is not a great idea. Okay, so we're saved. We've got that. We've got our background. We've got a logo layer just there.
And Tony, before we move forward into these steps, there is a question that I think is important at this stage still. While you were setting up the file, we had a question from Cornell asking, does PPI matter if you're going to print your artwork? And also in the chat, we have Melissa Piccone who's saying hello. And I remember we mentioned being dressed as a hostess during one of your speaking session at Max. And I think that we were together with Melissa in the same room.
Melissa's here.
Yes, she's here. Yes.
Hugs, sending you hugs. Hey. Oh, fantastic. Yes, you were. You were both stewardesses in my 2018, 2019? 2019, my 2019 infographic session, which was all about aviation. And you were dressed as a pilot. I was dressed as a pilot. Oh man, I was as well. And if you remember, I had that. So I had like a jacket on. I had a pilot's hat on. I had a jacket, the goggles, with medals and stuff on it. I had the flying helmet, but I also had like a peaked cap. I had that and what looked like a shirt and tie on. Oh, you changed, right? And I changed and I did a Vegas. The shirt actually was split right the way down the back. It was like a stripper's shirt. I don't want to know more of that. No, I know. It had no sleeves in it and everything. So I just dropped the jacket and went boof like that. And then there was my t-shirt underneath. And I just dropped my pilot's helmet on, flying helmet, and there we go. But my crew, and Melissa was one of the people who organised it, if not the person who organised it, so that they all bought flight attendant gear. Yeah, I remember being distributed all my scarf and gloves and caps to attend the class. And she's sending you Uggs back. And let's go back to Cornell, correct? Yeah. Yes, Cornell's question, right? Okay. If you're going to print, then the PPI will be important. I mean, most of what we're doing in here, right, will be native vector stuff, right? So it doesn't really matter because it doesn't have a resolution as such. That's part of the beauty of it. But where it does become important, and this is a good time to show that actually, because it is a really, really good question. So I'm just going to drop a shape onto this artboard, okay? Like so. All right, and then I'm going to go to the effects here. Before I do anything, I'm going to go to the document raster effects settings, right? And I'm going to change them from what I chose in the original setup of the document. I'm going to drop them down to 72 ppi, just here, which is like old screen size. let's go ahead and go to the effects here. Now, as soon as you go into, well, some of the things in the Illustrator effects will do this, but as soon as you go into any of the Photoshop effects, okay, you might not have the additional ones that I've got here there from plugins, right? Then you're going to really need to pay attention to the document raster effects settings, right? So pretty much any of those that come from the tiny bit of Photoshop that's built into Illustrator, okay, you'll need to pay attention to that. But you do also need to pay attention to them when you're doing things like a drop shadow, or, okay, one of these things like feather, or inner glow, not so much, outer glow, not so much, a little bit, but not quite so much, but pretty much round corners is fine. But these top four, almost definitely you need to pay attention to it, because if I just choose drop shadow here, okay, and we'll just accept all of the default settings that we've got there, or the defaults I'm using at the moment, and I'm going to hit OK. What actually happens if you want to, and please tell me if the language I use here is too technical. I don't think it will be, right? But warn me anyway. So what actually happens here is Illustrator creates an image on the fly. Yeah. So that shadow is not a vector shape. It's actually an image. It's called a runtime bitmap. It means that while it's in use, it creates and changes an image. So if, for example, I resize that star, it just redraws the image. If I move the star across the page, it redraws the image as I do it. Any change I make to it, okay, it creates a new image. And I can actually provide you with evidence of that, okay, by doing this one thing. Now, I have a shortcut assigned for this, which is not default. But if I go to the object menu, and I only say that because people might see it and think, oh, there's a shortcut for it. And there isn't necessarily. I just attached one to it. I'm going to expand the appearance. Now, did you notice that the bounding box suddenly grew around that? Now, I've got a group here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup that. I'm just going to use the shortcut Shift Command G. That would be Shift Control G on Windows. My star is exactly the way it was, but if I click on this, you can see that it is actually, in fact, an image. Yeah. Now, it was anyway, but the way that it was originally when it was being applied as an effect, that was very, very flexible. Now, if I just wind that back, I'm going to undo that a little bit just there till it's just back to being the path. So that wasn't, I think the language from that was okay, right? Is that?
Yeah, that was absolutely clear. And I think that we also observed the same behavior when we copy and paste this object into, if you copy and paste a drop shadow into InDesign or Photoshop, it changes the appearance of the bounding box as well, because you rasterize it right away.
Yeah, there are some differences between clipboards, and so they will do different things like that, like create an image at the time. Yeah, so it's something to be aware of for how that works. Okay, so let's go zooming in on this. So what magnification am I at now? So I'm at just a shade under 1500% here. Okay, now remember, my document raster effects settings are 72 ppi, which is fairly lo-fi, right? Okay, if I go ahead and change this, okay, to 150 ppi, just there, and as soon as I hit OK, do you notice that suddenly those pixels get a lot smaller? And if I go back to Effect, Document Raster Effect Settings, and choose 300 ppi, yeah, suddenly that looks smoother. Yeah, and it would be exactly the same way in print. So if your intent is to print this using conventional offset printing, yeah, 300 ppi is probably the way to go. And as it's a runtime bitmap, it won't really affect your file size because it only creates the image at the time that you actually print it, believe it or not. It does it while it's on the screen, which is one form of printing, technically, right? But as soon as it's output, then Illustrator uses magic to do it, to generate that image.
I think that's a fantastic example, Tony. Also seeing those pixels dissolve, I think it just really is the beauty of showing the difference of the resolution. And yes, Cornell is in the chat saying interesting. So thank you so much for addressing that.
Can I just add in to something to that? I'll tell you a very brief story, right? And this has happened to me on more than one occasion. But while I was working at Adobe, I frequently got called to go to different customers and discuss issues they may have been having with their workflows, because that's my specialism, right? I'm a workflow expert, apparently, right, of these sort of things. So I would go and look at this, and I went to an architect's practice, okay, and I've worked with some of the world's greatest architects who, strangely enough, use Illustrator. But this architect's practice were very upset because they said that this Illustrator file kept crashing their system. Yeah, it wasn't working. And they said it should be working because it's only a 5 megabyte file, right? Now, that doesn't actually mean anything really in terms of Illustrator. Photoshop is very different because that's the assignment of all of those pixels. Illustrator actually doesn't work like that. Yeah, if you've got embedded images in there, then you'll have all of that data, right? But otherwise, it behaves differently. And I'm going to show you what this actually looks like under the hood. And I'm going to cheat by using, I went for the SVG and interactivity then. I'm going to cheat, okay, by exporting this as an SVG. Okay, so I'm just going to do SVG just here, like so. All right, and now I'm not actually going to export it. I'm just going to borrow this function here, show code. And I'm going to bring that down onto the screen. Okay, and if I make that larger, so it's easy to see, this is what an Illustrator file looks like under the hood. Yeah, so it looks slightly different to this because the header, that's the bit at the top that tells you what it is, right, gives different information. This is an SVG. But essentially, once you get down into these areas here, that's what it's doing. G is a group, and it gives it an ID just there. Okay, this is another group. Okay, and you can see it's got a name inside of there. And then here's the star. That's the drawing of that star. There's the fill color for that star, right? And then there's a filter applied to it, which we did already. Yeah, because there's a in SVG, there's a replacement for the drop shadow filter. Where the problem actually is, and this is what I had to explain to the architects, is that while it might be a 5 megabyte file, yeah, it's not the size of the file that was crashing their computer. It was the bazillions of effects that they'd got applied inside there across all of these different layers, and they hadn't even been generated by Illustrator. They've been generated by a CAD program that they'd exported to AI. So the
heavy
CAD
lifting
program was like, yeah, and so it created all this stuff that numerically, in terms of text, wasn't a big file. Yeah, but to actually render that file, that's what was choking their machine and doing it. I said, perhaps, go a bit less heavy on all of the image effects that you've got in there.
I can imagine the computer sweating just at the look at that stuff.
Totally was.
And also, there was a question which I also want to pass to you from Kent, which I did give a quick reply in the chat, but I think is good for you to address it as well, which was asking, then it's just better to set it so probably it's good to work at 72 ppi then on complicated files until you're ready to save out for print.
You can totally do that. If you're using any of the things that create a runtime bitmap, then you can absolutely do that. If you find that it's choke, and essentially that's going to come down to video RAM, those things for rendering those effects. If you're struggling on doing that, drop it down, and then when you're ready to, when you've actually finished the file, turn it back up. But just bear in mind that when you're working at a low res, it's going to look different, and you have to kind of develop an awareness of where that is. But absolutely. If it's choking, let it do that. Change up the document raster effect settings there. It will take a minute because it will re-render all of the different effects in there, and then it will come back. But good question. Ooh, good questions today. Right, I'm going to carry on adding a few more layers in here just for giggles. Right, okay, so this one here I'm going to call gray, like so, and you'll see why shortly. This one's going to be black. The clue's in the name, actually. There are going to be things on there that have these colors. Just here, red. And the one at the top here is going to be text. And I think that's all I need. Good. Doing a quick update save. we don't want Mr. Crashy.
Oh, we're saving today.
You're saving today. So, well, you know.
Expert in workflows. We'll remember to say.
Okay. Now, crazily enough, we're actually going to leave this file for a minute, and we're going to work on, I'm just going to use file open here, and I've got 3 Illustrator files. Okay, ver1, ver2, and ver3. Quite why they're arranged like that, I don't know. But anyway, right, they'll open up. So, and I've put numbers in them so I know which one I'm working on. Although I can get rid of those now. Okay, just like any diligent guest, Claudia, I make sure, right, that that I just do a run through just to make sure everything's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, usually fail. But, yeah, there we go. So I'm going to create some backgrounds for these badges, and I figured we could have a giggle making some patterns for that out of some emojis.
Oh,
you know, why not? Might as well. And
I remember that the big emoji that you had on the screen when you had me stand up. I don't know if you do remember which.
I did. When did I do it? I think it was about 4 years ago. I did one at the photography show in which emoji did I use for you? Was it the crying one?
It was a poop.
It was a poop. Oh yeah, I put it into Character Animator.
Yes,
I did,
because that's what you were showing me on the tray.
Yeah. I put a poop into Character Animator. I had the poops. That was Donald Dump. It was very bad.
Fun memories. Hey, if I got so excited to spill the orange juice, you know, there was a reason behind it.
I did do that.
There was a good reason.
I was going to say that at the photography show, I did an emoji-based chart of interest in there. I've still got it somewhere, that went from all of these different faces up to mind blown at the top. It was amusing. Anyway, right.
And sorry, before we go, Vali is actually suggesting everybody to post your favorite emoji. And yes, I think we can just also have a little input from the chat. So if you let us know what your favorite emoji is, I'm just going to kind of get a count of the most popular, and then maybe we can also do a poll on the emojis.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah. Spoiler, we're not going to do the poop emoji.
We're going to keep it a little bit more just face emojis. That's what we want to.
Yeah, something. Well, I don't know. We can go with whatever.
Okay. Okay.
What I'm going to, you'll notice that I've cleared any text. This bit's important, by the way, because I'm going to type with an emoji font here. So I don't need any text to be inside that field just there. So I've just cleared that. So I've got a nice fresh blinking cursor. I mean, you can add emoji into text, but I just want this to be a single text object. And what I then need to do, if I just move this over to the side like that, is I'm going to go to the type menu and come down to glyphs. Okay, so I get the glyphs panel like so, which I can also make the content of that big. And then I'm going to go to emoji 1, which is, I think, built by the Illustrator team, I think. So it's kind of like the other emojis that we know and love, but there you go. So have we got any fave emojis just yet?
Oh, we have quite many coming through, so I'm just waiting to see if there is a theme. Budoval has actually posted many. I think it was stick like one per person, so I can kind of see if there is a favorite one.
Well, we can pick. I don't know. We can pick 4 or 5, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, I just want to. I think everybody's posting 1. Val posted 6. 6 faves.
Oh man, okay.
And I wasn't sure between the rainbow and the star myself, so probably might just put 3 because I'm participating as well.
Okay, cool. Did you want a rainbow in there?
Why not? I love the magic stars, you know, the one with the 2 stars next to each other.
Oh man, I might have a job for. See, the thing is with this, whereas if it was like Apple Color emoji, I can just access that by double tapping my FN key on my keyboard, and then it will show me that actual thing. But here with emoji 1, the advantage being, of course, is that the Apple Color emoji is based on image sprite sets. whereas this isn't. We've got some stars with a heart.
Do we have a ghost? Because the ghost is kind of recurring.
Is that from Val? Did that originate with Val?
Yeah, of course, originate with Val.
It might be. I'm just going to scroll through, right?
Let's see.
We get an idea of.
Cornell has actually created a really fun composition with a single eye, the lips, and the other eye. So nice. Fun.
Nice. We've got that rainbow there, by the way. If you want this rainbow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to double click that, so that gets added. That's a snowman, not a ghost. Is a snowman? Is there a snow woman next to it? Yeah. Excellent. Or as they were saying on I was watching Teen Titans today, and it said, "Clothes maketh the man," and then Raven was going, "Oh, but not the woman." And then Beast Boy. I don't know if you watch Teen Titans. I love it. Beast Boy's going, "Yeah, like the lady man."
No.
So good.
I'm a little bit more into anime lately.
Yeah.
I'm watching Demon Slayer. I don't know if have you ever watched it? And actually, if I can just do like a quick shout out, I want to show something super quick. I know that is a tiny photo, but I actually had a present of a drawing of Demon Slayer
cool.
delivered today. So thank you so much. Absolutely loved it. I'm a massive fan of anime.
Right, I'm just trying to find very quickly. I think I'm going to luck out with emoji 1 on the ghost. I mean, if it's really going to upset Val, I could draw one quick.
We also have giraffes, files, a lot of the giggles ones.
Okay, we'll have some diamond. Of those, definitely.
Yeah, so there is a lot of choice. We have the aliens.
Yes, I like those. I don't think they've put a ghost into emoji 1. If you want to complain,
the fox is so pretty.
Is there a fox one?
Yeah,
have we
so
got
beautiful.
A fox one on here? Let's have a quick. It's not
yes,
even
I've
helpful.
Seen it before. I've seen it before.
Have you?
Yes.
We've got all the foods. Right, okay.
Yeah. We have the penguin. Oh, the animals territory. Oh, we got the koala as well. They're all so cute.
There's a squirrel.
There's a squirrel
in, or chipmunk, or whatever it is. There's a panda. There's that cow's epic. That's good. I don't care what you want. I'm choosing my own.
Funny. We have also the full body with the cow as well, not just the face. Usually in the emoji it's just the face.
So good. Look at this tiger. This tiger's got a mood on. look at that. The tiger's giving someone the
a moody tiger.
Yeah.
Checking out the cow.
Yes,
Why am I next to a cow?
Oh man. Okay, let's find. Oh, I think I've lucked out. I'm sorry if I'm not managing to provide the emojis you were trying to find. Some of these are just so funny. Just so super random. Right, what faces do we got? What faces have you got there?
So here we have smile and laughing with the tears.
Yeah, we'll have that one. Hold on. Let's get that one in.
Then do we have an alien face? Am I asking too much?
No, we're not asking too much. It's just it's just the whole scrolling up and down thing is here
it is. Here it is. We have aliens.
Oh,
I think there is a ghost as well.
There is.
Is a blue ghost instead of being like
it's all right. They're all going to change anyway. They're all going to be sort of different to that.
We're mixed.
I'm going to make my own stuff from them. Well, or maybe not actually, because they're kind of cute. We need one more, I think. Shall we have the heart eyes?
Yes, let's do it.
Fab. Okay. Man, I do make work for myself. I really do.
How to make it harder and fun.
Do you know, I'm going to use a plugin just for a minute because I want to separate these all out.
Let's show.
I want to separate them all out into characters. And I could, kind of copy paste all of the things, but I am just going to use a plugin.
And also we had a question regarding the emoji. So how did you bring up the emoji?
I went to the glyphs panel. So what I did was I created an empty text thing. So I just had a blinking cursor and I went to the type menu and went to glyphs. Okay, and down at the bottom here, I can get all of my open fonts, and up towards the top, you'll find emoji one next to Apple color emoji. That's there as well. So there you go. That's what I did.
Thank you.
And then just double clicked on the ones I wanted and they were just added to this text. So I want to split these apart. So I'm going to get Vector First Aid, which is just here. This is an amazing plugin, you know. I mean, I know we're focusing really on Illustrator Native, but this is a cool plugin because here I've just got this one button. When I click that, okay, it breaks the text apart into glyphs, or at least it does theoretically. There you go. So they're all split up into glyphs. So I should have something weird, some weirdness gone on there. Oh, right. Okay. I can see why. But it changes them. It's also for struggling to find out the fact because they're emoji. There we go. That's done this time. So it shouldn't have to repeat, but it is.
It's taking only the first one of the row.
Yeah, don't know. I mean, it must be because it's emoji. So I don't know
like what exactly is that.
Yeah, it might be just struggling with doing that. I think I'm going to have to do it the long way around. Oh, I hate doing things the long way around.
Well, we're getting there. We're getting there.
We are. I know, but I don't like things that take ages. Such a child.
That's my method as well. Like copy and then delete the one that you don't need.
Oh man, I am such a kid sometimes.
I don't want to do it.
Oh, it's gonna take.
I don't want to go to school today.
I know. That's why I became a workflow expert. It's because it's not because I thought, ooh, workflows, yeah. It's just that I'm lazy. I don't want to do stuff.
Well, I'm sure that satisfies a lot of people. Well, desires.
I learned very quickly, right, that if you want to find out how to analyze a workflow, you go to the people who you're doing the job for, and you find the lazy people who have been there for a long time because they've managed to get their work done. Yeah, they've managed to, and they know all the ways around, and those are the people to watch and then fire them. No, I'm just joking about the last part.
Yeah, I was gonna say you might want to find the one that are lazy but they deliver at the same time, because that's
the thing. As long as if they get the work done, yeah. But otherwise, you just see them sat there like watching something on Netflix, and that they've come up with a system that you need to analyze. So that's the deal. Okay, I'm going to turn all of these into actual objects. The great thing is because they're vectors, I can simply go ahead and use the outline text shortcut, Shift Command O, Shift Control O. Now, because of the way we can now see how these were built, right? We can see exactly how these were made, which is great and all, but it's not what we want. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a pathfinder command here. Okay. We're going to use this one, merge. Yeah. And what merge will do, yeah, you'll notice all of those middle lines and everything have gone. Right. It's created as a group, but merge will take common colors and merge them together, and everything else gets nicely split up. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got all the bits. It's a very useful thing. It's sort of a t-shirt way of working. A lot of people who make t-shirts use that. Yeah.
I have a question for those who do not have the plugin anyway, because I was just thinking as you were operating now, could a shortcut instead of using the plugin to split them into single one would be just to outline them first and then just ungroup them? Would have that worked?
Yeah, I probably could have done that actually. I
never tried with glyphs or with emoji,
it would have worked. I mean, I could have actually just outlined them and then just done this, but it's just habit that gets me to.
Does that make me part of the lazy team?
Makes you efficient. I'm going to be observing what you do from here on in. See, I made a bad group there, so I'm going to just need to check my groups now.
The tiger is so fun. It makes me question what I've done wrong. What have I done wrong?
What is its groove? Yep. What is it doing? What is it going on? I'm just going to have to mute for a second because I've just got a cough. Just 1 sec. Bear with me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have Becca loving the ghost saying that it's adorbs. Yes, I completely agree. We did find the ghost in the end, and we absolutely love it. Team is saying that the tiger is my spirit animal. Is that tiger with a mood? Tim? No, Tim is always smiling.
Actually, Tim, I can see you in that tiger. Definitely can. I can see you in that tiger. This is a ghost that needs a different washing powder, perhaps. I don't know. I don't know
a bit of a muddy ghost.
Yes.
Coming from a lagoon.
Oh dear. Sorry about the coughing. I did manage to mute though, just in time.
Yes, absolutely.
I think what I might do is let's make this a more ghostly color. I think let's go for that edge fringing. Let's just quickly. This is so lazy. It's not as lazy as it could be. Mind, But
I love it how so quickly it would jump from simply using the type tool with glyphs into having illustration that we can customize in literally a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. It's we can do all manner of things with this now. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to make a loose arrangement and then I'm going to tighten it up just a bit. And that tiger's got to go down the bottom there somewhere. So good. The cow's also got the sly eye. Look. Oh no, actually it's not so, but
it's more like a relaxed stare.
You know, we've got cows next door as well now.
Oh really?
Yeah, we've got
so it's llamas? Is it correct?
So there are alpacas.
Alpacas.
2 alpacas, 3 emus, countless goats, including the biggest goat I've ever seen in my life. Huge goat. Like just massive thing. I thought it was a pony at first because there are ponies there too. And
so you actually found your neighbors got more animals than you now.
Yeah,
because you were one of the people with more animals that I've ever seen. How many you have now? 5? 6 and the fish.
5 and the fish. So there's the 3 dogs. There's Roxy, Jessie and Buddy. So Roxy and Jessie are the Labradors. Buddy's the sausage dog. Salchicha perro.
Salchicha, cane salchicha.
There we go. And then there's Bilbo and Tilly, the cats. And then the fish, and there's.
What about the rabbit?
Oh no, Daisy died.
Oh no, sorry.
Yeah, well,
I didn't know.
No, she got sick and she did dying.
Sorry.
Well, that's one of the things. But while she was alive, she was very, very much loved.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's the main thing. It's not to focus on what happened to her. It's to focus on what we managed to give her before. Yeah, absolutely.
It's one of the biggest rabbit. I didn't know the rabbit got that big. Actually, I mentioned that to a friend. We mentioned to a friend yesterday because I went to see all this small rabbit and I was like, well, they get really big because I saw my friend Tony, he had a rabbit and it's actually huge because, before seeing Daisy, I didn't know that they actually get that size because in the shop, you just see them little.
Yeah, no, Daisy, and actually Daisy, there were 2 originally. There was Charlie and Daisy. And Charlie went on quite a few years ago before. But Charlie was twice Daisy's size.
Oh, wow.
He was ginormous.
Was a dog.
He looked like a dog. Yeah.
A dog rabbit.
Yeah, he was a definitely dog-sized bunny.
And Val is saying that, sorry, I was just reading the Val comment regarding that we should call cows grass puppies because they have puppy eyes.
They are so lovely. Ahmed is the animal keeper and groundsman for the neighbours, and he's lovely. He's a really, really lovely guy. He's from Morocco, and he just parades around with these things all day. It's just it's a farm, so it's all weather, all things. Now I don't want to rob these of colour now. Got so much colour on there, but my plan originally was to get rid of any fills from them. Okay, and then just give them strokes like so. So that was my plan because I want them as a background pattern. And now I don't know. Now I'm in a quandary. Should we
Should
go
we just do a
color?
poll? I think we
Sorry?
should do a poll. I think
Let's
we
do a
should do a
poll.
poll.
Let's do one.
I think it's time to call a poll.
Let's get them back into color.
Perfect. Can you please do a copy of them so we can offer both visuals?
I'm way ahead of you. I'm actually doing it right now.
Perfect.
Doing it.
Perfect.
Doing it.
And Val, if you could kindly, we request a poll with colors versus outline. And as soon as Val will publish the poll link, I will let you know, and everybody can go and vote there. And we look forward to it.
Yes.
There is anything else that we can do in the meantime? Because that usually takes a couple minutes for everything to happen.
Yeah, I think so. We can go ahead. Well, we can go ahead and create a background color. We're going to be doing that. So let's do that anyway. Okay, on here. So we'll go and just create a background rectangle. So the thing that we're building with the emojis, that's going to be a pattern that sits across the top of this, an interference pattern. So something that just makes it less easy to forge, because there's that whole thing. So I'm going to just fill that with color. Actually, I think I'm going to go for a gradient. Can you remember which key I'm going to tap on my keyboard to fill this with a gradient?
Ooh, was a... No, I don't remember. I mean, I'm not prepared.
It's okay. It's the period key.
Period key. Dot.
Oh, slash is none.
Okay.
Yeah. So the three keys are comma, solid, period, gradient, slash, none.
None.
Perfect. Let's make a nice gradient. I think we're going to go for a sort of amberish color out to... Oh, I just love these colors here. Can't choose.
And also, while you do that, I remember that there was a question. So sorry if I'm a little bit zoned out, but I'm going through the chat trying to remember the question because it was about gradient. So I was holding that question, and now I'm actually trying to find it in the sea of emojis.
In the sea of emojis. With all the emojis we've got going on.
Let's see if I can bring it up. And if not, and you're still in the chat, please feel free to paste your question or ask your question again, because I'm looking through the chat.
Do it. These are going to be too strong, these colors. So I'm going to use the edit color option here, recolor artwork. And then I am going to dial down the saturation of these. I'm going to desaturate them. Keep going. There we go. Something like that is good, I think, for now. We'll see how it looks when it's got the pattern on top of it. Do we have any news yet?
So we have the poll live, and everybody is voting right now. I think we'll allow about another 30 seconds. If you want to go in the chat and click on the poll, we are going to be reading the result in just few seconds now. 20 seconds in.
Building that excitement.
Yes.
See, Tim would have already put some like heartbeat music on. So there'd be something like this going on in the background.
Yes, waiting for like a TV show sort of.
That sort of thing, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna do one more refresh to show result, and I mean, we have 100% vote of fill colors.
Fill colors.
100% on it. Not even one person has voted for outline.
That's kind of a non-negotiable situation, really.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah. Okay. Fine. We'll do that then. I'm going to blend them anyway, so I'll win anyhow. I'm going to go to the objects menu. I am going to come down to pattern and choose make. Like so. My new pattern has been added. That looks epic, actually, already. I don't have to do too much to change that, I don't think. Right, so I am going to just having a look at some awkward gaps in there. So I think I need to go and get let's see what brick by column looks like. That's kind of interesting, but I don't like it. Brick by row, also interesting, but I don't like it. So I'm just going to go for grid. I'm going to get the pattern tile tool just here. Let's see what can happen if we stretch that out a bit. Oh, too far. Yeah,
And also, Tony, we have a Rob Magnell that is coming up with a tip saying, don't try the outline with the apple color emoji, because when you outline it, is mash them
it's an
into
image.
pixels. Yes,
it's an image.
So thank you, Rob, for bringing that up.
You can use it to overdraw. So if you want to draw it, then you can use it that way. Right, but otherwise, I think I'm going to leave that as is because I need to add another emoji really, or reconfigure these. What are we doing on time? We're kind of, I just want to crack on. So I'm going to name this pattern emojis, like so. Okay, because that will carry on over to the swatches panel, and then I'm going to tap done. At the top here, if I hover over that, you can see emojis just there. Okay, and then I can get rid of these emojis for the minute. I can just pop those. In fact, I think they can have their own layer. Okay, so we'll just add a new layer, and we'll call this one drafts once we've dragged these up onto the layer. And we'll hide it. Now, by the way, just very quickly, you might have seen that I actually moved those by using this area. It's called its technical name is the proxy region, right? It's not very helpful in InDesign because InDesign adopted this the same layer structure as Illustrator has a few years ago, and they add a box there that gives you an idea that you can click it, right? But the Illustrator team just left it as it was, so it doesn't give you a clue. So unless you've actually noticed that yourself, it is an area where you can click and move things between layers, like so, without doing what a lot of people do, which is this. They select them, they cut them to the clipboard, they make the next layer active, and then they paste them in front. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but it's just not as fast as the other one. And that skill, you're going to see how useful that is in just a little bit. Okay, so we'll see that then. Right, I can turn the visibility off for that. Okay, and lock it because it's this layer I'm going to work on. Now, this item here is locked, so I'm going to unlock it. And then I'm going to go to my appearance panel. I'm going to add a new fill with my undocumented shortcut. Now, it's not, I don't think it's fair to ask you what it was again. So it's because I like throw all this stuff out. So Command / or Control / on Windows. Undocumented. I still want a thing that goes
undocumented shortcuts coming, everybody.
Undocumented shortcut. Okay, so I've got that fill on there. I'm going to go to my effects and distort and transform. Gonna change
that. Is looking so fun already.
It does look fun. Okay, and I'm going to make sure it's only it should only transform the pattern anyway, but we'll have a look. There we go. See? So I think that's going to be kind of good like that. I need to turn off transform objects because it is doing it. There we go. So now I'm scaling down that pattern till I get to size I'm happy with. Yeah, something like that is good. I also want to rotate this around a bit because that makes it more interesting, I think, as well.
Ooh.
There we go. I know all the excitements. This is my excited
all
face.
All the tricks.
Ready? Are you ready for my excited face? Here we go.
We have face and sound effects. Are they part of the Design Ninja brand?
Yeah, they are. Absolutely. Totally they are. Totally they are. You can see here how I can just move this around just by like clicking in these fields here and just using the up and down arrow keys. Yeah, or if you want, you can drag stuff too, just there. I think that's fine. I think that looks nice and interesting. I kind of don't want it to be that full of color because I've got a colorful thing to go on top of it. So what I think I might do is I might blend this down. We'll try, that's not bad actually. We'll try a few, that's more what I'm after. Let's try color dodge.
Just to make a little bit more of a subtle interaction between the emoji and the background.
Absolutely. I did say yesterday, by the way, didn't I, that I'd point out I think I'm definitely going in that direction, that I'd talk about the 3 blend modes that you kind of really need to know. And they're the same way in Photoshop as well. Have I got a minute to do that? Do you think we can?
Yes, absolutely. Let's do that. And then I'm going to do a little recap of when we're at. But please,
okay,
let's do this.
Let's go ahead and grab that because this is all in context right here. So if I just find this thing, actually each one of these things here, each one of these are actually built by the text. If I just go into outline mode, you can see there's only the text. So these grids are built by appearance. The blend modes set for each one, right? If I click on this first one here, you can see that's set to multiply. The next one's set to screen. The next one's set to overlay. And they're like the bare minimum of things you need to understand, the most useful ones to use. Okay, so multiply is where something multiplies down. Yesterday, we showed inks. We were talking about CMYK, and CMYK kind of works like that. When you lay one ink onto a piece of paper and you lay another ink on top of it, right, the effect is multiplied. So if I drag this down onto this gradient, you can see that black is persistent, gray is darkening the content underneath, and white is absolutely invisible. Yeah, so white is called a neutral in the multiply blend mode. Screen is pretty much the opposite of multiply. So when I drag that on, now the text screen is actually has the multiply effect applied to it as well. So you can see there, black is invisible or neutral, okay, and the gray lightens that, and then white is totally visible. And overlay is between the two. Okay, so overlay, gray is a neutral, so middle gray becomes invisible. The darker it is, the more of an effect it will have. The lighter it is, the more of an effect it will have. So it's the one in the middle. So I did build that out so that we could show that thing.
I think that's really, really clear, having these little examples ready to go to explain blend modes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So as I say, we're hitting an hour in the stream, and I just want to do a quick recap, Tony, for all the amazing viewers that are joining us right now midstream. It's never too late to join the fun here with the wonderful Tony Harmer. Design Ninja is showing us so many techniques and tips and the undocumented shortcuts.
Undocumented. We love those.
And so much other magic effects. But if you're just joining, we are playing and exploring variable data in this stream. Yesterday, we started with many more foundation techniques in Illustrator. Today, we're actually building the project from scratch. So feel free to join in and ask questions in the chat. And remember, if you are just watching and joining us on YouTube, come back on behance.net/Adobe Live. That's the chat where we're interacting, doing polls, and just having fun together, hanging out with a beautiful community here at Adobe Live.
We are. I'm going to just mess around with this just a little bit in here, just for the minute. Let's preview that. Cool. Okay, I've actually moved across into another document, just so you know. Okay, so I've taken this is version 1 or ver 1 just there, which I can now save actually and close up. All right, so we've done that file. I'm on version 2 just at the moment, and all I've done is I've changed the underlying gradient color just there. I just thought we'd have some fun doing some pattern stuff, and that's good. But the fun's over now. No, the fun's not over, but the fun's over for that particular file. Okay, so we'll close that one up, and now we're in version 3. I'm just going to paste this one down in my appearance panel. I'm going to target the gradient that I've got there, and I'm going to change out the colors. I've had one that's sort of red, one that's sort of blue, green. I'm thinking green. Might look horrible with that thing over the top of it, but we'll find out in a second. It's part of the fun. No, actually, that's okay.
Not bad. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's good. We can change any of this. That's the beauty of it, right? Those things can change completely. I'm just trying to do things that will clearly, be easy for you to see on a screen. Righty-ho. So back into the badge file now. We're going to start building. Oh, and I ought to show you. Let me just go back to my desktop here and into this folder that I've prepared. The two logos that whoopsie-daisy, that I had for you. So this is Maxi, just there. Okay, and then there's Maxi just there as well. Okay, so those are the two events that run side by side, and you might have
any
tickets
events that you might have heard before.
Sorry,
Does it remind
me of anything? There's something I'm sure this
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it does kind of. Anyway, those themselves are Illustrator files as well. They could just as easily be image files, right? But I constantly argue against, if it doesn't have to be an image, don't make it an image. Yeah. If, I mean, some publishing systems, they would require an image, but if I'm here working on stuff and I'm working with people who are working with Creative Cloud, which of course I do, yeah, then Illustrator file, because that way you've got it for whatever. And if you need to make it the size of a building, you can make it the size of a building. I've got the CSV, which we're going to get to in a minute. And then I've got version 1, version 2, and version 3 just here, which you can see I've now updated. Yeah, like so. That one looks horrible, but I'm going to change it shortly. Okay, but these ones are fine. Okay, good. Right, so back into the badge demo file. So on the BG part, what I'm going to do here is place. So Shift Command P, Shift Control P on Windows, and I am going to drop in, I'm going to drop in version 3 just there. It's going to be linked. So I've got linking on. I don't want it to actually place an embedded copy. So linking is turned on. I don't need to see any of the other options just there. I'm just going to place that and just click like so. So I've got one Illustrator file nested inside of another one. Okay, now that's a useful thing to do in many, many different occasions. One of the things I talk about are data graphics, big data infographics, and that's a good way to manage what you've got coming in. If you've got loads of separate files, it makes it much easier to work with. We can go ahead and work on the logo. So if we drop these in, okay, so I'll use the InDesign shortcut then. So I'm going to bring in the logo. We'll bring in Maxi just there like so. And this event pass is going to have a pouch, so we can go the whole way to the top. We don't need to, well, it's another thing you need to think of, right? If you're putting event badges together, how are they going to be given to the people who are going to be wearing them? Are they going to be directly punched at the top, in which case you need to leave room for that punching at the top? Yeah. Or if they're going to be pouched completely, yeah, then you've got the whole thing to work with. And that's what we're going to do just here. I'm going to use
remember, create feed for purpose.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to leave that one just there. Okay, that's good. Da-da-da. We can make some changes to this as well if we go sort of, and we've got our spotlight towards the end, haven't we, as well?
I was just gonna wait for a second to announce that in about 28 minutes we are going to dive in the artist spotlight. So we will be revealing a portfolio, and we're going to be celebrating one of you here together by sharing the spotlight with the artist of today review. So we're going to be looking at someone's portfolio, so make sure to stay tuned. And also, you can submit your own portfolio or the portfolio of any artist or friend that you want to celebrate by clicking on the Artist Spotlight tab located above the chat on behance.net/Adobe Live. On the chat, you will see there is a tab called Artist Spotlight. Do not share the links in the chat because we won't be able to read it. We don't access from them. The place in which you can share your work, your portfolio, and your friend's portfolio is the Artist Spotlight tab. And then we will select one artist like we're going to be doing today, and we're going to share their portfolio in about 27 minutes.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to, I've just dropped the opacity down, by the way, on the placed file with the background on it, because it's just looking a bit too loud for my taste. Just for the minute.
I was going to suggest if you wanted to change it to yellow instead of green, if that was bothering you.
Yeah, I might. I might change the blue one to.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I don't. We can look at all of that. That's the great thing. It's flexible. As long as we can see that there's a difference between them, then we're good. Right. Okay. So the background is locked in. I've locked that layer just for now. I will unlock it later on. The logos, I'm just going to turn that off and then on again. I've put a black background behind that. I am going to lock that one as well. This layer has just a rectangle on it called gray. Okay, like so. I am going to copy that. I'm going to lock the gray layer, make the black layer active and paste in front. So Command F Control F, and then I'm going to change that to black, like so. Okay, so that's on there. I'm going to turn that one off and make the red layer active. Repeat that again. Okay, and just change the color of this to red and just lock that temporarily. Just remind me to unlock those later. It wouldn't be the first time I've done this where
yes, I
sort
know
of
the
think,
feeling.
oh, oh, why isn't it working? And then I think, oh yeah, that's why. I'm going to create some more point text now. I'm going to make center align text, so I can click things. Yeah, but that involves me going and clicking stuff. Like what I'm going to do instead is Shift Command C. That's Shift Control C. You can see how that suddenly switched to center align there. That code is really, really easy to break, right? And as in figure out, not to damage, right? Shift Command C is center. So you're all smart people, right? So you're probably thinking, ooh, I wonder if Shift Command L is left aligned. Shock, a Rooney. Is Shift Command R right aligned? Yes, that's how smart you are. Okay, all good. I am going to change or change a couple of things out here. So first of all, I'm going to do first name. I'm going to write first name in there, big like that. Okay, we need to make a couple of decisions about fonts in a moment. Okay, but we'll just get these things lined up first. Okay, and then we need to decide more. The name at the top there, we're going to make that a display typeface, so that's going to be cool. And then we need the more functional things down here. So this one's going to be last name, like so. Okay, and then we've got one more piece of text here, which is going to be called level. Okay, so that's a level of attendee. So what sort of things might you have in an event? You might have event staff. So if you've ever been to Max, you'll notice that on the badges, a red bar at the bottom means that they're from Adobe. You can see that without having to read the word Adobe on it. Yeah, it just says Adobe. Any security person could say that's an Adobe person, so they could go ahead and ask them whatever they needed to do. And so could people who want to engage with Adobe staff. Okay, so they could do that, and then there's black for attendees, and then there's another color. I can't remember what the color is for event people, but there's all sorts of different colors, about 4 different colors, I think 4 or 5 for those. But that's what we're doing just here. Okay, so let's make some decisions. I think for these two, to give me more of a range with what we've got. In fact, I think I'll choose these from the type menu itself, because my screen's zoomed in. Menus don't quite sit where they're meant to. So what I think is, oh man, that's going to take a minute to load, isn't it? Yummy. Right.
But that's a great, because sometimes it happens depending on the way that you have your workspace laid out. Yep. I think it's great to show a different way of accessing it as well. So
yeah, it's cool. A good thing to do. I can't, when this is zoomed in like this, because I'm also on multiple displays. So I've got a display in front of me where I can see you on. And another one there, and then this one here. So it's kind of groovy. I'm fancying Avenir next because I've got quite a few things inside that family just there to work with. Does it matter at this point? Not sure. Don't think it really does. I think I'm going to go with that just for the moment. Let's go with that. And I'm going to go for bold in both instances there. However, the last name, I'm going to make a bit smaller. Okay, so just holding down Shift and while I'm just an Option while I'm resizing that from the center outwards.
And by the way, Tony, everybody's loving the shortcuts. We have a lot of comments in the chat while you were sharing the shortcuts throughout the stream. I'm just like giving you now a general positive comment and love for all the shortcuts.
Thank you. Well, they're just, they're big time savers. Big time savers. Knowing the things for the tools is really handy, to switch things.
It's like playing the piano, quickly. Isn't it?
It is. The magic finger dance. This is not the way that... do you know Sharon Stour? Have you ever met Sharon Stour?
No.
No, the author? used to write
I know, but I never met her. Or...
Yeah, I think I've got one of her books here. I think they're all digital now, but this is the Illustrator CS5 wow book that
actually went woo.
Ooh, oh, oh.
I think one of the biggest compliment received on stream is that I've been called MacGyver. I don't know if you used to watch MacGyver.
MacGyver, yeah.
That was my, like, I grew up coming back from school, having lunch, and like, I loved MacGyver. So when someone during the stream told me, Claudia's the MacGyver of shortcuts, I was like, yes, like my dream is achieved. Done.
There you go. Perfect. Oh, you're a bit of a MacGyver. Right then, let's go ahead and do the name stuff here.
It's coming together.
That's one of mine. This one, cut letters.
Ooh.
There's a few of mine in here.
Show it off. I want to know. I didn't know that we have some of yours.
Yeah, I've got some of mine here. So that's cut letters displayed. There's a bunch. This one, data 20, is one of mine.
Ooh, I didn't know. Why didn't know all this?
I can't tell you everything I do.
I'm shocked.
There's a few.
Super cool.
There'll be a few in here actually. I would have thought. More on my other machine. I get lots of fonts from Letterhead Fonts.
And we have a comment from Tim here, because our lovely Paco that is here making everything happen behind the scene was actually he actually put your full screen when you were sharing the book. But unfortunately, it was like you put it away right away. So
I'm really sorry, Paco. If you want to take us to full screen again,
yes, let's bring Tony up.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, man. There you go. So this is the one. I mean, this is an old one, right? Sharon still writes these. But it's a great thing. There's some good inspirations in there, loads of techniques. She actually talks about the finger dance in her books. I don't know how they're deployed now. I don't know if they're electronic only or whatever. But yes, but there we go. That's one of mine as well. Microfusion 22. It's one of mine. Crazy. But anyway, we're not going to go through Tony's font library. That's I'm surprised, given that Tim's in the chat, that Tim didn't turn around and say about my career as one of Madonna's backing dancers, which was something that he just said once, and it made me crack up so much.
No, we didn't. I will bring up any comments.
Just for clarity, I've never been one of them.
I was wondering. I was like, there are many things you haven't told me, Tony.
No. Well, that's not one of them. I've got to be honest. Oh, do you know what? I'll tell you what I do fancy doing here. I'm just going to delete that text for a minute. I fancy that being, I'm going to get my curvature pen tool and I'm going to get a guideline here just for a minute. That will do about there. And I'm also going to bring one in more or less to the center of the document. I'm just dragging this in from the top ruler, but if I hold down the Option key, then it changes to a vertical guide, which is a useful thing to know. I'm simply going to click here and here and there, something like that. Do you know what? That's going to be too steep. So we'll bring that one down. I'm going to do this on a path. Why not? I've got a shortcut for clearing guides, but that's one of my own again, so not really fair to mention it. Modifying your own shortcuts, by the way, is easily done. By going into the keyboard shortcuts there. And for my 6th and final stream for the week, tomorrow at lunchtime, I'll be doing some of that stuff.
Oh, great. Shortcuts, modifying shortcuts. And
modifying the shortcuts.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm just going to center that up. That might need to be bigger. It's going to need to be bigger. Rats. Right, let me just resize that again. Right, so this is what you get, you see, when you suddenly make decisions on the fly. Typical Tony.
Oh, well, Tony, happens all the time during live, so we're making it as we go.
Oh, yes.
You know, and
that's part of the fun.
That happens, you know, I enjoy so much more, and I learn so much more when people are fixing their own mistakes rather than when they're just showing perfect workflows, because life ain't perfect. So it's beautiful to see how you solve the problems as you go.
I think that my demos when I was on staff at Adobe, my demos with customers were popular. And you've seen some of my gigs were 6 hours long, going into like every tool you could imagine. And that was by demand, not by me just saying we'll do 6 hours. I just go, no, do more. But one of the reasons I think my demos were successful, in fact I know it was because people used to tell me, is that I didn't use, most of the time, if it was an actual Adobe event and whatever, then I'd have to, because you kind of get given demo assets and you're meant to do that to show it in the way that the marketers have decided that's the way it's going to work. But for my own gigs, the reason my things were popular is because I tried things without lab assets. So it was a less than perfect thing, and things went wrong, and then I showed you how it got fixed, and that's kind of a nice thing to do. I think, do you think I should mix this up a bit with something like maybe with serifs on or something? There's going to be sort of a paint effect behind it.
Oh, if there is a paint effect, I will keep it it simple.
Yeah.
I will
maybe
so.
What about scripty?
I like the script that you used yesterday when you've done the first Claddy. I don't remember which was the name of the font.
Oh, that was
that
LHF Scarlet. That was, I think, letterhead fonts.
Is that
LHF.
Is that too much?
The only thing is with that, right, is it's because it's designed truly as a display font. Is that it's not kind of meant for this sort of text. It's meant to be kind of coaxed into place. We can try it. I mean, this was it, Scarlet Script. That one there. It's a lovely typeface.
It's beautiful.
I need to add in a few more characters though, just to make sure. I'm going to put Laura Mipsamish. Yeah. I just want to make sure that.
Love that.
Right. Yesterday, when I was doing this, I told you that whenever I work with effects on text, I tend to remove the character fill to start off with. And that's true. I do. And that's what I'm going to do right now. Perfect. So my text is there, selected, but not active. So I'm going to hit the slash key, which removes the stroke that it has at the moment. Okay, I'm then going to go ahead and start building out the appearance. So I've got my appearance panel here and active. So I'm going to add in a new fill. The difference is here, just in case you're thinking, well, why would you do that? Why not just use the fill you've got already? The reason is because the characters are at a slightly different level. Yeah, it will change the appearance of some things. It also limits what I can do with it, because those things will sometimes trip me up, right? So it's just good practice if you're building appearance-based stuff. I get people who tell me on YouTube all the time, like, you don't need to remove the fill. And I think, okay, that's fine. If you don't want to remove a fill, don't remove the fill. But I'm telling you,
when you're going to have a problem,
when you will want to. I don't tell people it just because like it's my way or the highway. I tell it because my experience tells me,
of course,
right, that it can trip you over. Anywho, moving on. Right, so I've got that black fill just there. And what I'm going to do, I think, here is I'm going to expand that out slightly. So I'm going to do offset path just here. This is, see those sharp arrow things? Remember I mentioned those yesterday? This is the thing that can be sorted out very quickly by adding a bit of roundness in. Now I'm right out of my comfort zone here because I'm working in inches and I have no idea what that actually is. So I'm going to try 0.01 and see what that actually works out at. Yeah, that's not big enough. Let's make it 0.9. Just there, perfect.
All I know is that 0.125 is supposed to be 3 millimeters because that's the bleed. That's the only one I know.
Yes. Okay, so I've got that. I'm going to add a new fill again on top of that one. Okay, I'm going to make that one white. Just there. See that? That already looks like so exciting. Then I'm going to come back down to the bottom. I'm going to duplicate this one again. Just say, actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to delete that.
And Marcin is saying here, Tony, sorry to interrupt you, but Marcin is saying, Marcin Talar, I just realized that Tony could make this design using only shortcuts.
Yep. Pretty much, yeah. I don't go to the menus very often. I've got to tell you that in I'm going to bring this stroke back up to the top for a minute, actually, so you can see it happening. Just let's make it a bit bigger. Okay. So we'll go like that, just so you can see that it's there, so you can see what I'm working on. When I'd go out to do an analysis of how people, so I'd go out to big enterprise companies and I would sit in their design departments. I would talk to their designers. I would watch how they worked. I would ask them questions about how they worked. And when I was doing an analysis, I would watch out for what we call mouse transactions, right? That means that you're working in one place and then you go to another part of the interface and then you go back to where you're working, right? There is nothing wrong with doing that, right? But if you're asking me, is there a way we can save time on getting these things done? Those are the things that it was my job to identify those. Yeah. So, and to use things that were existing and also things that were new features in there, because my job was connected essentially to sales anyway. So I was helping to make a sales case for those things, not a secret. Okay. So I would watch for mouse transactions because most mouse transactions take between 3 to 5 seconds. Yeah. So just imagine I'm here and I want to go and get the pencil tool. So it'd be 1 and 2 and 3 to come back. Yeah. Because I'm like that fast. Yeah.
So you were extending people lunch times.
Yeah, exactly. Well, here's the thing, right? Now, we don't work like robots. We don't, right? We do all sorts of other things. But just as a point here, let's imagine we did, right? And let's imagine, so let's say it takes 3 seconds. Okay. If you do that in 10 times, how many seconds have you got? 30, right?
Yeah. Sorry, Tony. I was in the chat.
That's all right. No.
The chat.
Sorry.
I missed the question. Yes.
No,
30 seconds.
So we've got 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. Now, let's say you're working like a robot and you're doing that all day. Yeah. You don't go for a drink or anything like that. If you did work like that, that means in an hour, you spent 30 minutes doing it. Yeah. Across a working day, you will have spent 4 hours doing it. That's 4 hours just going backwards and forwards if you're working like a robot. But that's one of the things you can do. If people say, how can I save time and money on doing these? How can I get these jobs done quicker, make myself more profitable? Invest in learning the shortcuts. And that ends the sermon for today. Let's sing number 387.
But I think that's so useful because, I mean, yesterday you mentioned as well, besides big companies, freelancers, charge for their time. And also, there is so much more that you can get done to impress clients in a shorter time. And you can use your time in different ways when you're a freelancer by saving time with these useful shortcuts. So couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it's all...
Everybody in chat is loving the shortcut, so everybody agrees. We're all on the same page.
This is so good. I mean, some people can't use shortcuts. I'm not saying, there are people who genuinely cannot use shortcuts for a whole bunch of different reasons, right? But if you can, makes sense. Okay, so just bear with me. I'm sorry about the coughing, but I'm still on the tail end of this cold, so I'm just gonna have to mute again.
Absolutely, take your time. We are here.
I'm also just going to dive off to the left, so I'm off camera just for a second.
It's fine. Okay. We're going to see you dive. And we're here with Tony. For everybody that is joining, we're also going to jump in the artist spotlight in about 7 minutes. So stay tuned.
I've got time after that as well, right?
Yes, of course.
Oh, thank gosh. Right, okay.
So we actually are going to work on a project.
So I am going to properly mix this up here just now. So what I'm going to do is I've just applied a width profile to this. That one's not exciting enough. Oh, that's kind of good. Is that one I did? Maybe. Who knows? That's perhaps a bit too exciting. No, we'll keep it anyway. Now, I'm also going to apply on top of that. I'm going to use a brush. The brush I want isn't in here. I'm going to go to Artistic Watercolor. And I'm going to choose one of these brushes.
Oh, that's what I say I was going to go behind.
Kind of interesting, right? It makes an interesting sort of effect on there, I think.
Super cool.
Now, I think I'm pretty sure that the width profile is sticking just there. Let's just have a quick look. No, it's not. It's jumped down to uniform. Let me see if I can. I don't think I can apply both. Oh, I can.
Yeah.
There we go. But they've got to be applied in the right order. There we are. That works nicely. And of course, width profiles are dependent on the stroke weight. So if I increase the stroke weight, you can see how much that changes.
Cool.
That's an interesting effect, right?
Yeah, I think there is a lot of experimenting to do with brushes. I learned a lot just simply by playing with them.
I'm going to change the blending mode of that one. I'm going to bring that down to multiply. Also, let me put do not disturb on my phone. I just heard it go dingy ding like that. So I've got this interesting thing. I think I'm going to just go ahead and duplicate that a couple of times, and then I'm going to change some things here. I'm going to change the color. I'm going to need to do darker colors because I've got this blending in multiply, or actually I could change it. Let's do one in screen here like so, and then just change the color to something light. And also we'll add a transform to that as well. Let's change the scale of it. Let's do some stuff just to model it up a bit. I'm just going to literally just mess around with values here. Okay, and I might move it maybe just a little bit. Rotate it, defo. Just there, great stuff. And I might even reflect it. All sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah, good stuff. I could make copies as well if I wanted to. That would be kind of nuts. But yeah, perhaps a bit too much.
I love that we are exploring all the different options.
Yeah, well, you know, it's kind of nice, I think, to have a play.
Totally.
You can learn a lot by, you know, with play. It's I defy anybody, right, to tell me that, you know, they've not just played with something at once and it's ended up influencing their entire design.
Oh, absolutely. Experimenting is I do the best things by mistakes. Honestly.
Me too. if I'm really, really honest. Me too. Right, okay. Yeah, that's not exactly going where I want it to go, but I'm just aware that we're like looming on the artist spotlight. So I may come back to it. We have some sort of effect on there at the minute. I just want to make one of them larger. And the size, by the way, of all of these things, of all of these ellipses, okay, is changed by whatever size the text is, right? So they're all designed to be modified with text. I'm just going to transform this, and I think I'm going to just leave that the size it is. I'll just rotate that around a bit more as well. It's just to make it anything that is not standard. That's the idea. Yeah, there we go. Something like that. You can, of course, build out whatever you like. Might just add in one more fill. And I think I'll take that fill right the way down to the bottom of the stack. Just there, and get rid of the offset path for that one. And then change that to an ellipse as well. Oof.
And we have a Mendawa in chat saying that this session, these two sessions have shown me the mighty power of the appearance panel, and I'm loving it. Absolutely, Tony. I think you're really showcasing the superpower of the appearance panel. And we have
thank you.
2.5 minutes to go.
2.5 minutes. There we go. Right, I've wanted to mix something up, so I've got something that is a non-standard appearance for that text, and I feel that I've actually achieved that at this particular moment in time. Doing a quick save, because I haven't done one for ages. I realized that while I was midway doing this text. I thought, oh my word. Anyway, there we are. We've got that appearance. What comes next? And in just a moment or two after we've visited the artist spotlight, what comes next from there is actually bringing this in and getting the data, which I'm going to bring onto the screen now ahead of us switching over for the artist spotlight.
Perfect.
Okay.
So yeah,
we are about ready for that.
We have about another minute to go, but if you want to start, that's up to you. We have and again, like we can up to you. We can start early. We can start a little bit late if you're ready to go. If you want to pause now and then
I think
start
this
the
is a good
actual
place.
data, that's absolutely fine. So we can just jump right now and reveal the artist of the day with about 60 seconds early, but we're absolutely fine. And then we're going to come back and actually see the variable data in action with Tony towards the end of the stream. And drum rolls here, because here it is. We have our lovely artist of the day. And I know that you know her, Tony. So why don't you just introduce the artist of today yourself?
Yes, so this is the work of the fabulous Carina Lindmeier. Now, actually, I'm not seeing the screen just at the moment in my feedback just here, so I'm hoping that's all going across nicely and that you're seeing it. Carina is a very, very lovely person. She's from Linz in Austria. She's a keen cyclist. She's friends with the Adobe Live team in Europe. She does a lot for us. She's done a couple of designs that we have on. We've got sweatshirts and cards that she's done. And what I love about her work most is the variation that she has in her range, and the colors are just sensational. Plus, cats, come on, you know.
Oh, it looks so cute. I love the color palette. I absolutely love the color palette. It's so beautiful. And
oh man, and when you
hearts.
Look at the energy that's in that.
Absolutely.
The energy
amazing.
that she's managed to bring across into this piece here. In fact, into pretty much all of the
there's
things.
A lot of movement. There's a lot of action and movement.
Absolutely.
Brought by the colors, by the line.
Yeah. She's just great subjects, great stuff. She's here. This one, I'm pretty sure she did this one live, actually. I think she was with a British artist, Rachel Presky. I'm pretty sure they were both drawing at the same time. Or it might have been another German-Austrian artist, Melanie Divide, who is one of the German hosts of the Austrian hosts, but on Adobe Germany. And I think they were both drawing at the same time. I don't know, so many streams, but they were both drawing at the same time. I'm pretty sure.
That's so cool. And I love the use of textures as well. The line in the textures really, really help the sense of movement as well, alongside the lines of the illustration.
It's and that's it. That's the thing about it is I think she deserves way more. I mean, she's quite well recognized. Oh, it was Rachel Presky. There we go. That she was drawing with. Rachel's lovely, but that's the thing. She's got the energy running through the textures that she used. They're just very, very rich. Everything she does is rich. I think some of these, are available as jigsaw puzzles. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there you go. Spooky.
Oh, wow.
It's like I've been looking at it for ages.
Almost as if you knew.
Oh no. That's because in truth I did, because I really like Carina. So I think she's fabulous. Plus cats. I mean, just go back to the cat again.
And I mean, a cat with a heart glasses. So I love the background, the pillows. I really love absolutely all the way that the subject are represented. That there is the consistency as well in which she translates the subject throughout, and the puzzle is so cool.
They are so really, really good. She's a keen cyclist, as you know. I'm a keen cyclist myself. Yep. Emma from the EMEA team, she's a keen cyclist. Melanie Divide, she's a keen cyclist. Even Tim, and in fact, this is
I didn't
a drawing.
Know that.
Yeah, Tim is. This is actually Emma. This is a drawing. I'm 99% certain that's Emma riding her cycle just there. And some of the subject, you can just look at it for a good long time, because like you say, there's energy in the texture, and that's the thing. It's just so much energy in this stuff. She's done some great. So you and I both done a lot of wall art, and so Carina's done some of that too. In fact, I'm pretty sure. I love those bugs. I'm going to come back to those bugs in a minute. Yeah, so this is Salon Frida work that she did. Look, there we go.
Oh, I love
painting
Frida.
On the glass. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I've no
shot
idea what
as well.
paint pen she's using there. They're not Posca. I don't know what they are. But there we go. So she's doing, I mean, it's tricky to photograph something that's on glass, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Without
Well, I
backing
mean,
it up.
the bold color, you know, that's again that consistency in creating your style just by repeating the key elements. In this case, we have this beautiful color that she uses, which are recognizable.
Yeah.
Aww,
I love these. These bugs.
So beautiful.
Look at these. Look. So I think we're going to scroll past these really slowly. I just love them.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. So do check out her work, you know, and
you want to give us a shout out
She's
on
great.
the Behance name or Behance link so everybody can go and.
Yes, I will do. It is behance.net/Carina Lindmeier. And there you go. There's her name just there. In fact, I can probably make that all big.
Yay!
There we go. Like so.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so nice and
so
easy
make sure to
find.
go and check her out. Go and give her a follow. And Tony, you got to give her a follow as well. I don't know if you're logged in, but
I'm not signed in on this one, on this browser. So I have followed her.
I usually do like a live follow when we share, but I noticed that you didn't.
In.
No, that's fine. I noticed afterwards. As I was saying, I was like, oh no, it's not saying. So
I'm kind of sidetracked now. I'm just enjoying her portfolio. I'm just kind of having
we still have like another couple of minutes if you want before we jump back. But we are at about 20 minutes before we're gonna have to unfortunately say goodbye. So I don't know how much work we have left to do.
I think we'll be good. I think we'll be okay. We'll just do, just a few more minutes looking at Carina's work, because I genuinely do. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. Such a nice person. Yeah, just so much energy in the stuff. Look at that. I think I just find new stuff all the time. So yeah, all the energies.
And everybody's loving our work in the chat, by the way. Loving the bugs, lovely. We have people that are already following Carina. So
fantastic.
Amazing. Well, I can see why.
Yeah.
Beautiful work. And again, that color palette. I love the oranges. The one is there. I don't know if we actually went on it already.
Did I go past this one here?
Yes.
Yeah.
That really caught my attention. Love big contrast between the background and the subject and the final piece. We have this lovely, look how beautiful it is. Something as simple, because I think that's another wonderful characteristic of a work, of having detail and simplicity delivered at the same time. So general composition is very simple in terms of character and the way that she lay out elements, but then the richness of details with the textures, with the lines, really bring both elements together and makes the work stand out.
Yeah. No, it's good. I think I'd like to see a collab between you two, actually.
Ooh.
I think that would be kind of interesting, with your kind of plant stuff.
I'm always open to collaboration.
No, I think you should. I think that's definitely give her
some of the drawing that I've done, and she can use their wonderful colors.
Yeah, I think that might work well.
That'll be lovely.
There you go. So Carina Lindmeier, big fan. Mwah, Carina, well done. You're just great. And it's fabulous to get to show her stuff here. So I'm very, very happy about that. Okay, so we're all right to go back into Illustrator now, I take it, because that's where I am. Okay, and we're going to make this thing actually do its job. So yesterday I showed you a very, very simple CSV file, which was essentially just a list of names, which is great if you only want to change a list of names. If you want to just do something for all your buds and, just send them out a thing with their own name on, job done. Just create a variable. You need that variable at the top, right? Just create a variable, do your list, happy days. Yeah, that's fine. But beyond that, you're going to need to create a CSV. And I'm here in Excel. There's loads of other things you can use to create a CSV. In fact, if you want to, you can even do it in a text editor. You just have to separate all of the different things with a comma. Yeah. And if you're diligent enough to do that, happy days. You can do it. It is doable. I urge you, however, though, to try and use some sort of, you can use Google Docs to do it. You can use whatever, just export a CSV. because Illustrator can only deal with two things. It can only deal with CSV files or XML, and XML is a bit tougher. More power, bit tougher. And of course, XML, you can actually pull in data from different places and have it translated into the format that you need. So there's a whole thing that can be happened there with like web forms and whatever, but that's a whole other animal. Okay, so the variables I've created here, again, I'm just going to stress the importance of no spaces, right? None. It just will not work. It will just not happen for you. I'm using camel casing here, or concatenation. If that's a nice word for you to throw out. It just means joining together. Yeah. So an L name just there, and I've uppercased the second word when those two things are concatenated together. So you can go home later on and go, yes, I've been concatenating stuff today. Yeah, okay.
It's one of those things you learn a new word and use it 5 times within the next hours.
I can remember you said the hash symbol is actually called an octothorpe.
Ooh,
right?
That'll be mine. Let me take a note. Let me take a note.
So it's called an octothorpe. Now, when I used to teach web design stuff, I used to say, because they used to say it's hashtag. Well, yeah, it's used as a hashtag, but its proper name is an octothorpe. Day before yesterday, I think it was, I was watching a quiz program on TV, and that question actually came up in the quiz, and the person walked away with monies.
Ooh.
Yeah?
Oh, wow.
They didn't learn anything from me, but I just thought, wow. I wonder if anybody watching that who learned stuff from me was thinking, wow, it was actually useful to learn that particular thing. Anyway,
you'll never know when it's going to come useful.
There we go. So F name is the first name of these people. L name is the last name of these people. Largely, these are things that have just been generated by a generator, apart from maybe some at the bottom. Why have you got that string in there? Let's get rid of that. Hadn't seen that before. I know why. Okay. Right. So I just need to do a quick save on this, right? Or else something will go horribly wrong. I'm so glad I scanned down to do that. This warning, by the way, with the CSV at the top, possible data loss, that's so annoying, right? But it just does happen. Even when you say go away, it comes back at the minute you save a game. Okay, so that's the last name inside of there. Then the level, I'm actually going to scroll down all of these and just have a quick scan. The level is what they are. Are they attendee, staff, or an exhibitor? And so you can see I've just attached those to random people there. Then I've got these things prefixed with an octothorpe, right? Or a hash, or a square symbol, or the pound sign, whatever you want to call them. We don't call it the pound sign here in the UK, of course, because we associate that with a sign for our currency. So, you know, but anyway, it's the number sign, loads of different names for it. That's where the problems arise. But you'll notice there are 3 things here, red, black, and gray, all prefixed with that symbol. Okay. You might remember from the artwork that we've got 3 things, okay, that have the names red, black, and gray. In fact, we separate them out onto their own layers, and that was just a functional thing. So it's those rectangles. It had nothing to do. You could just stack them into each other in the artwork, but they're much more difficult to select that way. So layering them separate. Then I've got 2 things here that say at background and at logo. And you'll notice that if we get rid of all the stuff around where these are, right, there's ver 1, ver 2, and ver 3. So version, you remember the files we were making with the emoji in the background? That's where they are.
Yes.
And then
everything
we've got
is
the
coming back.
There
full
we are.
Circle.
So, we are there. We are arriving at the correct destination. And then we've got this stuff here for the logos. You can see Maxi and Maxi just there. Okay, we've got those. Now, on Macs, this is the path name as you have it, the full path name. If you're on Windows, then you need to start with C:, and then on from there down to that. You can find the path name. And in fact, there's an Adobe help article on the website, on the Adobe website, that will help you to get to that, or just go to the Adobe community and find that from there. I can give you a quick tip for finding something on the Mac. Okay,
yes,
if
please.
you want to know where something is. So if I just go to one of these files here and do Command I or Control I, and I think Windows has a similar thing, you can see the path to that. Okay, it's just here. You don't have to start right at the drive. You can just start at users and then it will have your username and everything else on from there. And you can copy that. So you can select it in there and copy it, right? And then you can paste that into this field. And then all you need to do is append it, right? Add on the end, right? The file that you're actually after. That's the quick way to do it. But it has to be done correctly, right? You've got to do it for your operating system. It's got to be done the correct way. Again, in fact, I can bring that. I've got it here because I have it as a reminder to say that, right? Data merge using the variables panel. You'll find that information there. So there you go. See photos, Bill Tucker, JPEG, and so on, all that. There you go.
Amazing.
And now I can get rid of that because that was its sole function on being open, was for me to have that so I could bring it onto screen and show you.
And Tony, just to give you a little bit of a time, we have 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're good. Perfect.
We're good.
Promise. Sort of promise. Right, okay, so as far as I'm concerned, we are running to time, madam. Right, so we've got our CSV, we've got our artwork, yeah? Now we need to marry the two together. So we are gathered here today, right, to import some data. So I'm going to click that like so, and then I'm going to go to my CSV file. There it is, friend list CSV. It even tells me it's a CSV down here, open. And hey, all of those numbers from that top row, all of those variables from that top row have now come in to the panel. All I need to do is match them to the articles that I want them to work with. So I'm going to highlight F name just here. I'm going to click on this text because this is the first name. Then I'm going to click this icon. It's like a little kind of Lego piece there, right? Make text dynamic. And when I click that, you'll see that the text that's in there at the moment jumps into that part. I'm going to go to L name. I'm going to click on last name just here, make text dynamic. I'm going to go to level, going to click on level just there, make text dynamic. Going to cough, bear with me.
I love that we are doing that on and off, but you
I'm
are
so
absolutely
sorry.
Great. No, you're doing great. We don't hear
but
anything. If you didn't see it and you just did it, we didn't even know that it was happening.
There we are. Right, now the next thing we want to do is the visibility for this. Now I need to unlock these layers just here. This is where using that proxy region to select things is really useful. Right, now I'm going to target that one. I've got the variable targeted.
And Tony,
here.
can you just show the proxy for everybody that maybe is joining
so it's just
later
the
on
small
in the
dot.
screen?
It's next to the circle there. So that circle, which is the layer appearance target, my friend Von Glitchka calls it the meatball. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, just to the right of that, in that area that doesn't give you any clues at all that you can click in it, right? That's the proxy region. That's how you can select things. So I selected that rectangle because it's the only thing on that layer. I've got the variable targeted in the variables panel, and then I've got a slightly different icon now. It's got an eye. Make visibility dynamic. Okay, so it's got that, and then I'll go for the black one, highlight and do that one. And then gray, target that one. You can actually name objects in Illustrator if you want to, right? If it would help you to do that, you can actually do that. Then I'm going to go to the background here. So that file down at the bottom, I'm going to click on background. And now I've got the option here. You'll see make linked file dynamic.
Super exciting.
And then logo. Sorry.
I just say there. Super exciting.
Yeah, logo at the top. Make linked file dynamic. Quick save. We don't want to invite Mr. Mess Up to town. Okay, so at the moment, none of the data is connected to that. But if I click here, I can now see my data set. If I go to data set 1, boof, you can see that changes. Now I can cycle through the data sets. You can see the name changes. You can see that the effects, well, actually I went to relative and they're all fairly short. You can see the effects the effects are changing.
Yep.
Just there. And of course, if I wanted to amend the artwork, like bring this name up a little bit to there, so there was a connection between the two, that's perfectly fine.
And talking about saving time, I mean, look at the number of design that you generated just from one single design that you've created. That's absolutely amazing.
I've given it all the pieces. It's very much like Lego. Right, now what we need to do though is we need to find a way to export all of these really, really quickly. How many minutes do we got?
So we got 4 or 5 minutes. Can we make it? Yeah.
Window, actions. So I've got my actions just here. I'm going to create a new set just for you. Okay, I'm going to call it AL. No, I'm just going to call it Clardy. There we go.
I was wondering how my name didn't come to play today.
Yeah, I was at Adobe Live and I thought, I haven't used your name enough today. So I've called it Clardy. I've created a whole brand new set. I'm now going to click the plus just here. I'm going to call this export dynamic. Like so. The set is Clardy. I don't need a function key for it. I'm not going to put it in button mode, so I don't need a color. Record. Recording is now live. Dun, 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 dun. I'm going to go to the file menu. I am going to go to export and export as. I'm then going to just jump out to my desktop. I'm going to create a new folder just here. I'm just going to call this exports. There, like so. Exports from demo. There we go, like so. Great, so we've got a folder. I'm going to use artboards. I'm going to export these as PNG files. Super good. I'm going to hit export. Amazing. It's then going to give me these options. I'm going to export these at 300 ppi because they're going to be done for like printing and all of that good stuff. The background color white is just fine. You can also choose transparent or black from there. In fact, I'll choose black. Why not? There we are. And I'll hit OK. That's good. I'm going to stop the recording. So that bit's done. I'm going to go ahead now and go out to my export from demo and just delete the file that it exported just there. And we can have a look at this file in or this window in just a moment. Okay, so back into Illustrator, back to the actions panel. This is where we do the batch operation from. So we click on the flyout. Okay, we go to batch right the way down at the bottom. Okay, and then we work through it. So the set I'm choosing the action from is Clardy. The action I'm going to use is export dynamic. By default, it will say folder just here as a source, right? But we're going to choose data sets. You'll notice there's no further options. Destination, la la la, it says none, it just does whatever. And then if you're choosing a save as command here, so if instead of export, which I chose, okay, you were doing like save as this, then you would need to make sure override save action, action save commands is there. Okay, choose where it's going to go. So we'll just make sure we're in the right place. We are in the right place. That's really good, but it's always worth a check. Override export commands, stop if there's any problems. Okay, and here I just like the data set name. That's fine. Okay, I'm going to hit OK. And once I do that, it's going to start running.
Oh my gosh. And just like magic is going and filling in the folder with all the PNGs. That's amazing.
Meanwhile, I'm just leaning somewhere having a coffee. Going, oh, yeah, I was doing that this weekend as well. Yeah, I think so. So am I being paid for having this coffee? Yes, I am.
That's the beauty of everything coming back full circle. We talk about the resolution at the beginning of the stream. We talk about how to save time and how to have a workflow that really works also in your advantage for your own time, so you can grab an extra coffee and maybe just have a more productive day, which is very satisfying.
Start on the next job.
Yes, absolutely.
Double bubble.
And that's, I think, is the best way to show. Look at that folder. Imagine how many times you should have gone and click save and redo the same thing over and over again.
So just preview through some of these just here. That opacity trick I tried for the background didn't work, but I'm not too worried about that. That's fine.
That's absolutely amazing. They're all ready to go, ready to send to the printer as well.
That'll be it. Done.
Fantastic. That's
there we go, Clardy.
Absolutely amazing. And you actually kept your promise in terms of time.
I did.
We unfortunately are pretty much almost over. I think we have just a couple minutes here. Usually I do a very, very brief run through just to show the work that we've done throughout these 2 days. I think if we can take a minute just to show the file real quick, showing the appearance panel and just mentioning a few of the thing that you run throughout these 2 days of stream creating variable data. Do you want to just give it one quick shout out about the appearance panel?
Yeah. I've got the appearance panel here and loaded, so you can see that we took objects here, we applied various appearances to them, we added new fills in, then we modified and strokes, and we modified the appearance of some of those strokes. Yesterday, we even took a single anchor point and turned it into a visible object from there. We turned it into like a sort of a circular thing with another effect on top of it. You can go absolutely crazy with these effects. And the great thing is you don't have to go digging around selecting things in the artwork. You do most of the work inside of this panel. Yeah, and you can build that. We grouped things together as well. We took text and we added 3D effects to it. So everything you find in this good stuff here is fair game, okay, for creating the appearances that we want. We looked at all of those. Then we looked at how we set this file up, how we created dependent files on there that we could use inside of there and just place the other Illustrator documents in this one, which is good practice anyway. If you've got complex documents, see if you can segment it in that way. It will still output perfectly, right? There won't be a problem with that at all.
Unfortunately, it's time to say goodbye, Tony. And I really, really loved spending these 2 days with you. It's been an absolute blast. Everybody, make sure to go ahead and check the replay if you missed day one. There is so much more creative fun happening at Adobe Live every day. So check out behance.net/live. And right now, just after us, we have the Creative Challenge in XD with Jesse Showalter. And tomorrow, a full day of masterclasses. So stay tuned on Behance in order to join the fun. Tony, an absolute pleasure to be with you, Design Ninja.
Yes.
Go and check out Tony also on YouTube and Instagram. And thank you for sharing this time with us, everybody. I will catch you very soon. Bye-bye for now.
Take care. Bye-bye.